So this would be our last notes in Algebra 1 for Chapter 5. And this is going to be graphing linear inequalities. So we've looked at what's an inequality. We've looked at absolute values and compound inequalities, unions, intersections. And now we're going to look at how to graph them. You can see here the graph of a linear inequality is a set of all the points that represent all solutions. So we can't just have a line, we have to have like almost a region or a range. Okay? So what you do is you need the equation. So like we might have x is greater than 2, or you might even have something like 2x or whatever is greater than whatever. Well, we have an equation. So we might have like y equals 2x plus 2 or whatever it is in the end. And I'll show you how to get there. But in the end, you write a line, you figure out what the equation is for the inequality, and then you graph it, and then that graph divides that coordinate system into two sides. And then you test a point, and you see if it fits, it's true or not, and then you know which side of the inequality is true. So let's look at one. So here we have this thing. We have 3x minus y is less than 2. Our first step is going to be to solve y in terms of x, and then we'll graph it. So we want to turn it into y is less than something. So here we have 3x minus y is less than 2. We're going to minus 3x from both sides. Then we end up with negative y is less than negative 3x plus 2. Then we're going to change this here. Then we multiply a negative 1 through it. Okay, and that's going to make us turn this. Okay, and then that's going to then give us y is greater than 3x minus 2. And then we're just going to change that into an equation, a linear equation. So y equals 3x minus 2. So we kind of got that. And then we're going to graph this. So let's just take that piece of graph paper here. Here's the equation, y equals 3x minus 2. And then we solve for the y-intercept. Where is it going to go across the y? Well, it's going to go across the y where the x equals 0. So we plug in 0 for x. That becomes 0, so y is negative 2. That's one of our points. And then we can just plug in where the x-intercept is. And where the x-intercept, y is going to be 0. So we just make it 0 is 3x. We'll just plug it in here. 0 is 3x minus 2. We're going to add 2 to both sides, divide by 3. 2/3 equals x. So if this is 1, let's say each one of these are, to move this one down a little bit. So that's a 1. Change this a little bit. It's a 1, and a 2. So then we have, this would be where our line is. And then about 2/3, so somewhere around here. Okay, and then we just draw in, use a roller, draw in the line. Okay. So then we have, this is our y equals 3x minus 2. So then our next step is to choose a test point. So maybe we want to choose this test point right here, 0, 0. And then we have the equation. We have y is greater than 3x minus 2. We would then plug in 0, 0 for each point. So 0 is greater than, this is going to be 3 times x and 0. So it's y, where's y? 0 is greater than negative 2. That's true. So then we know this whole side is going to be where the solution is. And then we can just shade this side in. The thing I didn't do, and you need to remember to do this, is I put this straight line. But really this should be a dashed line. So I apologize for that. This should be a dashed line, because you don't know which side it's going to be on until you test it. And here we tested the point, so it just should be a dashed line. Don't draw a straight line like I did. I made a mistake there, sorry. So that's kind of how you do that. So we know all the solutions on this side. And let's say we chose the solution over here. So let's say we did, this would be 2, 0. We can check that one. So then if we plug in 0 for y y is greater than 2 for x. 3 times 2 is 6, minus 2 is 4, and that's not true. 0 is not greater than 4. So we know this is the only sign. We can do it with a couple points. So that's how you graph these. You take an inequality and you graph it. So our next example here is going to be we took an inequality and then we wrote the equation for it and we shaded it in the region. Now we're going to look at one that's already done. We have this line, and notice this one is a solid line. So this one, the last one we did is it's less than or equal. This one's a solid line, so this one's going to be greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So we first want to figure out what our equation of the line is. Let me say that correctly, equation. So we want to first get the slope, and we're going to use the slope intercept y equals mx plus b, and we need to figure out where the y-intercept is, and we see it right here. So it intercepts at -3. So b is going to be -3. Then we just need to figure out the slope. We're going to pick, we need 2 points, and we can compare them by doing the change in y over the change in x. So let's just pick this point. This is 0, -3. Let me look for another one. Looks like we got one right here. This is a 2. So 2 and 1 is another point. So let's just use -3 minus 1 over, that's the y's, and then the x is 0 minus 2. And then if I do those down here, so -3 plus a -1 is going to be a -4. 0 minus a 2 is going to be a -2. So we get +2 is m. That's our slope. So then we know what b is, -3. So then if we want to write this, we then write y is 2x minus 3. So that's our equation. And then we remember that it's a solid line, so then it's going to be greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So then we just need to find some answers. So y, we'll say greater than or equal to 2x minus 3. And then we'll do the other one. Y is less than or equal to 2x minus 3. And then we'll pick some points in the shaded area, and then we'll figure it out. Okay, and let's go, look, 0, 0 is a good point. Let's just pick that. Let me do the math. I'm going to pause, and then I'll come back. So then we plug these in. I just took the point in the shaded area, 0, 0. Plug it in. We get, for y, we get 0. So 0 is greater than or equal to. We plug in the 0 here. So 2 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3 is -3. So this one says, if it's greater than, 0 is greater than or equal to -3. That is false. So hopefully our other one is going to come out right. If it doesn't, we've done something wrong. So here we have 0. Plug it in again. The same thing, and really, maybe I don't need to review this again for. We just do the same math. Here we get 0 is less than or equal to -3. That is true. So that's our sign. We then take that sign and we write y is less than or equal to 2x minus 3. And that's kind of the example of how you do these inequalities. So I showed you how to use the equation and write an inequality. And then I showed you how to look at the inequality graphed and figure out the equation. So you should be able to do these. We'll do some check your understandings in class, and you'll be ready to go. And I'll see you in class tomorrow, and perhaps we'll start the review as well.